Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the July 17th, 2007 Board of Selectmen Sewer Commissioners meeting. We were in executive order previously, so we've already done the roll call. First item on the agenda, is there anyone here that would like to speak to the board? Please come on up.
Hi, Diane Yarrington from 4th Street in Onset. I was here at last week's meeting and I just had a couple of comments to follow up on. First of all, I received several telephone calls last week, positive phone calls from residents in the town or in the village of Onset. One of the phone calls was very, very disturbing. However, there was a gentleman and his wife that have been renting at Onset for over 25 years, and this will be their last summer. They're not coming back. They had some 21, 22-year-old young adults with them. The two men were robbed and beaten in Onset a week ago Saturday night. I'm sure you'll read about it because they're writing an editorial to the paper. It will come up, I'm sure, and they're not coming back. Those are the types of things that we don't want to happen in Onset. Okay. And they're taking it to court. It isn't in the police blotter yet. That's 2 weeks behind. Second of all, I think that maintenance is immune to any bad publicity that they've gotten in the past week. I have called 3 times I started calling in May about some brush down on West Boulevard and asked them if they could clean it up, and to no avail. And then last week after the meeting, I finally went down on Thursday morning. I pulled the brush up myself to the side of the road. I called Thursday, I called Friday, and I called again this morning. And to no avail, the brush still sits on the side of the road. They drive on West Boulevard every day. They can't get around it. The only other things that I'm asking, if you could get this information for us over in Onset, is what % of the town taxes come from the village of Onset? What % of that money goes back into Onset? And if we could get a copy of the town budget.
All right.
Is that the district of Onset or the village, just the village?
What's the difference?
There's an Onset Fire District and a Wareham Fire District.
You know what, I would bet
but it goes out to Cranberry Highway.
I want to know, I'm interested more in property taxes.
Well, only because I would say I'm in the Onset District and I'm on the other side of Cranberry Highway, so.
I would say right in the village, and then what % of the money goes back into that. I'm interested in the property taxes.
Yeah, there's an Onset Village Residential and Commercial, which is by zoning, which would probably be your easiest way, and the assessor probably could come up with a value, percentage of value. But the district itself starts up by the Wareham Fire Station and the bank on Onset Ave. It goes out to Cranberry Highway over to Indian Mound into Buzzards Bay, and there's a lot more value than just the village.
Right. So
they have to separate that.
Yeah. The assessor could.
He can just search for Onset Village Residential
OB2,
and the commercial.
Yeah. Okay.
So there are 2 separate budgets.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say 2 separate budgets. There are 2 separate I mean, one shows just the village. One shows those houses that extend into Buzzards.
Nothing shows the village. One shows there are 3 budgets in this town. There's a town budget, which is the town of Wareham. There's the Onset Fire District, and there's the Wareham Fire District. They're 3 separate budgets. They run their own annual district meetings and town meetings. They set their own budgets. They have their own, functions. Obviously, the fire districts are fire and water. That's all they do.
Right.
The town does the rest. But as far as breaking it down, we could tell you your value tomorrow of the Onset Fire District value, real property value and personal property value. To find out what Onset Village is, either somebody would have to point to each property or draw a circle around it and have somebody do all the research, or they could search just for the zoning on Onset Village Residential or Onset Village, I don't even know if there is an Onset Village
It's
Commercial.
OV1 and OV2, I think, on the, is that what it is on the cards?
Yeah.
It's called
OV, Onset Village 1 and Onset Village 2,
Right.
and it's just a matter of, John, you probably know this one better than me, but I think Onset Village 1 is from, say, like the Stone Bridge up, and Onset Village 2 is down. I
Right.
think that's the area. But that's what John's saying is that, because if you want Onset, it would be the Onset District, which, like he said, goes all the way across Cranberry Highway, all different neighborhoods that aren't your area of concern. So the Onset Village areas are the ones that we would have to try to narrow it down to, but we can do that through the
Okay.
assessor's office.
The value. As far as the expenditures, I don't know how they're gonna dedicate. I know this week, right after that last meeting, when you were in last week, he's even
Mr.
taken his mechanics
Yeah, Mr.
out of his
Gifford.
garage to start cleaning up trash and cut lawns. And they were down in Onset pretty much all the week, and we just had a lieutenant who just said he came off his desk job to go work in Onset Village.
On Sunday, Saturday or Sunday?
On
he
Saturday or
said,
Sunday
yeah.
night, yeah. So, I don't know if they're gonna keep track
Yeah.
of where they are.
I would say, yeah, the municipal maintenance director had told me that as well, that they took the mechanics out of the garage to go down and to help out to try to clean out. And as far as, I think, one of the issues that you'd brought up was like the street sweeping. I think it was like the late spring that the Onset area, according to the maintenance director, that it was the late spring that they had gone through and done
Yeah,
it.
they were out killing weeds today and,
It was
doing
up
some
there.
other things, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we can try to, I'm not quite sure. I guess we could probably find out from maintenance and things like how many people do you have down there or how many shifts or whatever, and that you could figure out the percentage of that budget from there.
I mean, they've been mowing all season, there's no question about that.
Yeah, and that's probably the one area in town that, as far as grass cutting and maintenance of lawns and things like that, I don't think they're spending a whole lot of time throughout the rest of the park, the rest of the town for parks.
I mean, and that's the thing, I think, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't their budget was like actually cut, like, I think it was like 12%?
Yeah, their seasonal help, yeah.
So they
over-
lost all their seasonal help, and I know that,
in overtime.
especially in light of, well, knowing Onset or whatever, that he has been trying to even take, he told me today that he was trying to take people that, from other areas to try to do that, so like you said,
Well, I
the
think when
grass was
people
always
call
cut.
in for a specific request, I mean, I made the effort to go down there and pull this stuff up. They don't even have to go down there and pull it up. I
Just
mean, I
can't
pulled
get
it up to the side of the street, made 3 phone calls, and no one comes. To me, that's unacceptable.
Oh, I'll ask him about that, because especially, well, and I don't know, but if they're down there already, and they're doing the other things, then, yeah,
should be
they
doing that.
should be able to pick that up, so we'll check on that, but
Thank you.
thank you again. Is there anyone else that wanted to speak to the board this evening?
John, could you get that blind? Can't see.
Hi, Jim.
I'm Jim Newman. I'm here for the
Thanks.
Veterans Council and the Disability Commission. I believe you all got letters that I noticed I sent about needing more handicap spaces right out here for this building, because we have an awful lot of seniors that they haven't got plaque, they got the plaques, but they haven't got the plates yet. And I talked to the ADA man who was your building inspector, and he agrees with me. When they made the other side of the thing, supposed to be all handicap over there, but it's only 3 spaces over there by the handicapped entrance.
Were the building inspector's offices right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they took 8 spaces out of here, or that was over 3, 5, 7 spaces that were next to the town hall. I don't know where the hell they went. I suggested then they did it, but they moved them over this side so you could have more spaces. Come in here on certain days, especially when there's school on, you can't find a damn space anyplace. Not even a handicap spot.
How many are on this side, over here?
On this side here, there's 5 van accessible only spots.